Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll tell you the story of the king's wise fool and the lost treasure. Have you ever heard of a fool who outsmarted everyone? That was the question they asked for generations in the kingdom of Belwar. In the grand halls of the Belwar palace, where the tapestries were as thick as a winter storm and the king's voice echoed louder than the court's laughter, there lived a jester named Tibin. He wore mismatched shoes, bells on his sleeves, and a smile that never quite told if he was amused or scheming. King Harland, ruler of Belwar, adored him. "He makes me laugh," Harland often boomed, "and laughter is worth more than gold." That sentiment was ironic, considering what came next. One morning, the court woke to a chaos. The royal treasure had vanished. Not the kingdom's gold or emeralds. Those still sat secure in the vault, but a small wooden chest, old and plain, that the king kept beside his throne. It held a map, a golden acorn, and a faded letter said to be from the first king of Belwar. "It's the legacy of my line," Harland roared, "and someone has stolen it." Guards stormed the halls, ministers pointed fingers, even the royal cat was interrogated. But there was no sign of the thief, nor any forced entry. That afternoon, while the king sulked over his third turkey leg, Tibin cartwheeled into the throne room, wearing a crown made of cabbage. "Good king," he cried, "allow your favorite fool to find your treasure." The court laughed. Harland raised a brow. "You?" he asked. "You can't even find your shoes half the time." "But I find other people's secrets," Tibin replied, winky. Amused and desperate, the king agreed. "Very well, fool, you have 3 days. If you fail, you shall wear iron bells forever. In the dungeon." Tibin bowed deeply. "Then let me dance towards the truth." Tibin started where no one else did, the palace kitchen. Not because he was hungry, though he never said no to a bun, but because kitchens were where gossip rose faster than dough. Over stale bread and sweet jam he listened. "The chest was untouched," whispered the maid. "The vault wasn't opened," muttered the steward. "Oddest thing," added the cook, "the queen was seen crying that night, quietly by the fire." Tibin's jester grin tightened. Interesting. Next he visited the palace library. Hidden beneath comedy was Tibin's love for words. He found the letter's replica, part of Belwar's history, a message from King Eldric, the humble, written generations ago. "This seed is no treasure of gold, but plant it in wisdom, and it shall grow into the wealth of kings." The golden acorn, a symbol, not literal treasure, but a legacy of peace and humility. "Ah," Tibin muttered. "The treasure isn't gold. It's a warning." That evening, Tibin tiptoed to the royal crypt beneath the palace. There he found the tomb of Eldric. With a few tugs and a bit of trickery, he loosened the stone at the base. Inside lay the missing chest, wrapped in cloth. But he didn't open it. Instead, he carried it to the queen's chamber. Queen Serafina was startled. "You found it?" He nodded. "And I know why you hid it." She looked down. "It was never about the chest, Tibin. Harland would misuse it. The map leads to a grove, the one Eldric planted himself. A sacred place meant to remind rulers to serve with humility. If Harland found it, he'd call it divine right and double the taxes again." Tibin nodded solemnly. "So you became a thief to protect a truth." She smiled faintly. "You're wiser than you let on." "I'm a fool," he said, "but not foolish." The next day, Tibin appeared in court with the chest. The king leapt up. "You found it?" Tibin bowed. "As promised, your treasure, good king." Harland tore it up. The court felt silent. Inside, a map, the golden acorn, and the letter. He read it aloud, confused. This is a riddle about planting, wisdom, humility." Tibin stepped forward. "Majesty, that acorn is not just a seed, it's a symbol. Your ancestor planted a legacy of kindness and service. He wanted his heirs not to chase power, but purpose." The court murmured. The king sat back, eyes narrowed. "You're saying this chest teaches not how to rule with force, but with grace?" "Yes," Tibin said simply. "And your queen knew you weren't ready to hear that." Gasps. Serafina stood proudly. She's right, Tibin added. And I am only a fool. But even fools know when kings forget their roots, kingdoms fall. Haaland looked at his jester, then his queen. His hands trembled, not in rage, but thought. Finally he stood. Then I shall visit the grove myself. Not with soldiers, but with my heart open. The taxes will not double. Instead, we will plant trees in every village, in memory of Eldric's wisdom. Applause thundered through the court. Tywin bowed, bells jingling. And so the kingdom was saved, not by sword, crown, or decree, but by a fool who read between the lines, a queen who remembered her roots, and a king willing to listen. From that day forward, people said, the wisest man in Belwar wore motley and danced with chickens, but he carried the truth like a torch. And the acorn? It was planted once more in the palace garden, where it grew tall and strong, sheltering those who remembered what truly mattered. So the moral of the story is that wisdom does not always wear a crown. Sometimes it jingles when it walks and hides behind a crooked smile. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let us know what part of the story spoke to you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one with another twist, another tale, and another truth. Bye bye, see you very soon.